This video and others like it are funded by viewers like you. Thanks for your support.
It is March 22nd, 2024, and this is the latest news update for Medellin Colombia and Colombia as a whole. Let's jump into it. Follow along.
You're watching DC-born Rob, erasing borders. And now, the news.
Okay, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever it is you're located. Thanks for watching. You're watching DC-born Rob, erasing borders. I'm DC Rob. I have 3 quick stories for you. Let's jump into this first one right away. Colombia registered a record amount of foreign currency earned from tourism last year. What's the reason for this rebound? The national government maintained that a rebound is due to the record increase of the number of non-resident visitors to Colombia. At the end of 2023, Colombia experienced a record income of more than $9 billion from air passenger and travel transportation, which means an increase of 22.4% compared to the previous year, according to figures from the Bank of the Republic. This figure also reflects an increase of 70% compared to the levels recorded in 2020, indicating a recovery of the tourism sector after the challenges derived from the pandemic. Herman Umaña, Minister of Commerce, Industry, and Tourism, maintained that the increase in foreign exchange for these exports derived from tourism services is due to the record arrival of non-resident visitors in 2023. This implied for our economy a greater dynamic of consumption and the spending in the sectors associated with tourism. And it had a very positive effect on the territories visited. According to the data from Medellin Colombia, the arrival of non-resident visitors grew 26.6% in 2023. The country received 5.8 million foreign tourists. Colombians residing abroad also played an important role in the entry of U.S. currency. Last year, 1.5 million entered Colombia, which meant an increase of 22% compared to the previous year. Another point that the ministry considers that influenced the increase in dollars is due to the activation of cruises that in turn attracts tourists. In 2023, 345,285 cruise passengers arrived, a 106% increase compared to the same time during the previous year. Carmen Caballero, president of ProColombia, explained that this flow of tourists contributes to the increase in foreign currency, a result of ProColombia's promotional work in the world. Our media plan focused on 13 priority markets, and we actively participate in more than 70 international fairs. The goal of the national government is to reach 10 million non-resident tourists by the end of its mandate. In January of this year, an increase in foreign tourists continued to be experienced. 516,702 non-resident visitors entered, an increase of 1.8% compared to the same period in the previous year. Non-resident foreigners once again led the tourist flow with 65.4% of arrivals, marking an increase of 13.9% compared to the previous year. On the other hand, 80,911 arrivals of Colombians residing abroad were registered. Okay, this next story is not about foreigners, but it has good video, and I wanted to show you how well the camera systems work in Medellin, Colombia, specifically in El Centro and Poblado, everywhere. They can watch you from street to street. Let's jump into this one right away. They didn't even escape by changing their shirts. They captured 2 men for the theft of a cell phone in the center of Medellin. The defendants would have tried to sneak into the crowd, and to do so, they even changed their shirts. But this did not persuade the authorities. The user of a bus that serves the Northwest in Medellin, which was parked in the Plaza Botero sector, was a victim of criminals who put their hand through the windows and stole his cell phone. Although they both escaped and tried to hide amongst the crowds in the sectors, they were finally captured by the Metropolitan Police. The events were recorded on Carrera 51 Bolivar with Calle 53 Maracaibo in the center of Medellin when the victim was chatting and 2 men prowled the bus, gradually approaching, and with a rap, they took the user's mobile device, who was traveling in the Transportes Medellin Castilla company vehicle. The thieves quickly fled the scene. A few blocks away, they took off their shirts in order not to be identified by the authorities who were tracking them using the technological devices, explained the Secretary of Security in Medellin, Manuel Villa Mejia. After monitoring several blocks with the different security cameras of the 123 emergency line, The Metropolitan Police units finally proceeded with the capture of these two men, who would have corresponded to the characteristics recorded in the videos that were used for this criminal act. Both remained at the disposal of the prosecutor's office to initiate the judicial process for the crime of qualified and aggravated theft. While the cellular equipment was recovered and after the corresponding judicial work, it was returned to its owner. This year in Medellin, there have been 4,852 cases of thefts from people in Medellin, 19% less than the cases registered last year, where there were 6,023, according to the Information Systems for Security and Coexistence. The comuna most affected by this scourge is Comuna 10, La Candelaria, in which 1,046 of these cases have occurred, 22.56 of the city's total. Here, the total also has been a reduction. Since last year to date, there were 1,546. The Estacion Villa neighborhood, where this particular case of theft was recorded, has 42 cases of theft reported this year, 6 cases less than those recorded a year ago. The reduction in this crime has also been reflected in the results of the police operations against this crime. Since this year, throughout the city, they have captured 576 people for this crime of theft, said Secretary Villa Mejia. Okay, and for our last story, meet those chosen to represent Antioquia and Medellín in Miss Universe Colombia 2024. Miss Universe Colombia 2024 will be held on June 2nd in Barranquilla. Antioquia and Medellín have new candidates to compete in the most important beauty pageant in the country, Miss Universe Colombia 2024. This Wednesday, the election and coronation ceremony of the new Queen of Antioquia and its capital was held at the Casa Teatro de El Poblado in Medellín. The judges in charge of selecting the Antioquian representatives were Natalie Ackerman, National Director of Miss Universe, and Carolina Guerra, and Lena Poffitt, Director of Switzerland. Mariana Zuleta, 24, was crowned Miss Universe Antioquia 2024. The young woman is an international negotiator and has a double degree in European administration obtained in Strasbourg, France. Mariana scored points in the final question. Since the 3 candidates were given the option of answering in English or Spanish, the negotiator was the only one to answer the final question in English, and this would have helped her win the crown and represent the department of the national competition. This new Miss Antioquia speaks Spanish, English, French, and German, according to the organization. Her social approach is linked to childhood and adolescent education, which is why she has volunteered with children in vulnerable situations, in foster homes, and students in the first semesters of higher education. On the other hand, Valentina Pérez, 24 years old, was chosen as Miss Universe Medellín. She is a social communicator and professional model, in addition to being passionate about acting. According to the organization, Valentina has participated in animal rescue foundations and worked with children in vulnerable situations, including street residents, in addition to promoting mental health. The candidates will prepare to participate on June 2nd in Barranquilla for Miss Universe Colombia 2024. Okay, so there you go. You're now up to date with the latest news for Medellin, Colombia, and Colombia as a whole. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to travel, but travel safe.
On behalf of the flight crew, thank you for flying with us and have a pleasant day.
Okay, hold on, guys. Right quick. If you need to have things shipped to Colombia, shipped to someone else, or shipped to yourself to Colombia from the United States, make sure you reach out to CaribbeanShipper.com. CaribbeanShipper.com. The contact information is coming next. Join me on social media. I am DC Born Rob Official on Instagram. I am DC Born Rob Official 1 on TikTok. I am DC Born Rob O on Twitter. Don't be like this guy right here.
You're just so stupid. I had to send you a video to let you know you're so stupid.
That's right. Don't be like this guy right here. Join me on social media. Headed to Medellin, Colombia? See my guy Andres with Nomad Travel for safe airport pickups and drop-offs and tours. Contact information in the description below. If you're in Medellin and you need dental work done, from a basic cleaning to major reconstructive surgery, come see my guy, Dr. Carlos Mori. Contact information in the description below.
Thanks for hitting like. You did the right thing by hitting like. Thanks for hitting like. Thanks for hitting like. DC Born Rob.